I told you in the beginning when I started He Trains My Hands for War that I was going to kind of share, what my process, like I'm trying to not only be ready psychologically, but I'm trying to be ready physically for a time of trouble. At the end of January, beginning of February of this year, I had started going through the book of Jude for 10 days, and I was out in Oregon, and I committed to climbing up a mountain every day, or a hill, some sort of big climb. And when I got to the top, then I would go through the book of Jude verse by verse. And throughout that time, I really hit this point where it was hard to get up those hills. In addition to that, while I was climbing, but I was staying with my brother, I slipped and pulled my ACL, and then I was on a cane. So at the beginning of February, I was on a cane. Before that, my neck hurt really bad. Major shoulder pains that might be there for a while. But I knew I had to turn this around. I was incredibly overweight. I've been diagnosed with a high level of calcium in my heart. And I knew in that moment it couldn't be how I lived. It just couldn't be how I lived. And I'm over 50, and I know how I think. I've always been a little bit overweight. But no matter how hard I try to work out or to commit to something, I can't get motivated enough. I'm just being honest. I just couldn't get motivated enough. I'd say I'm going to work out in the morning, and then I wouldn't. And then I'd say I'm going to work out when I'm done working, and then I wouldn't. And then years would go by. And I'm a fairly active person. I get out quite a bit. I go for walks, that kind of thing, but not really work out. So I knew I had to change this around, but I knew in order to turn it around, I had to change the way I think. And I immediately sought some help from a couple friends. One, a counselor, is a great friend of mine in New York City, and just as a resilience coach, just trying to changing the way I think, how to be more motivated, so to say. The other thing is a good friend of mine. He had lost 110 pounds in 7 months. More so, his family went through a major, major crisis, and he just came out on top and all that. And what he had done was he was eating Trinidad scorpion peppers every week, every Sunday. And I was not interested in that for the obvious reasons. But then he turned it into a drink, and I started drinking it. And I noticed within about 5 to 10 days, my knee was okay all of a sudden. I was sleeping better. I was more motivated. Before I knew it, my neck didn't hurt anymore. And I started working out with weights, getting into the gym quite a bit, going for walks quite a bit. But I knew that I had to go beyond that, that I was also trying to prepare my body. My goal is to be stronger at 60 than it was at 40 is my goal, and ideally stronger at 70 than it was at 30. And that's, people might laugh at that goal, but that is my goal. Now, my mother, she lives on the West Coast as well, and she suffers from Parkinson's. She's had multiple heart surgery. She actually just had a heart surgery about a week ago. And so she's got Parkinson's. She's pushing 90. Her brain's, it's good. Just when she was having, her last heart surgery was a valve replacement, and she just wasn't getting oxygen to her brain. So she wasn't really remembering things very well. She's pretty sharp other than that. Now she's kind of back. The surgery was a success. But she really struggles with the shaking and the pain that she's in constantly, and she can't get up and walk more than like 20 feet. So I'm going to send her this drink. I'm very curious what it'll do. Very curious. And I'll document that as well, because it's something about what you put into your body matters. And when you're putting, the nutrients from Trinidad scorpion peppers, which I guarantee you haven't ever done before, because I haven't never done that before, nor would I voluntarily. But when you put it into your body once a week, it changes everything. Your mental state is better. Your sleep is better. Your motivation is better. Your happiness is better. You have more energy. Injuries are healing quicker. I'm very curious what it's going to do to Parkinson's. That's what I'm very curious about, because used to be she could drink a little red wine and it would stop the shaking, but now that doesn't work anymore. So I believe what you put in your body matters, especially when it comes to things like Parkinson's and diabetes. I mean, heart things. You can go on and on and on. Now, I like the flavor of this. I recommended he add a little lemon to it, so he did. He made one for me. It's called He Trains My Hands for War. It's got my little logo on it. Now, this is not me. It's just my friend doing it. It's not my company, for the record. This is him trying to build this thing, not me. But he just, we're good friends. I respect what he does, and he respects what I do. So I like the lemon better. It's limited. Otherwise, you get the cherry green tea flavor. But the other piece I did was I started, a friend of mine, he was an SRO at a school, really rough school I worked at back in the day in Kansas City. And there was a lot of fights, a very, very violent place. And he was an SRO there. And him and I have broken up several brawls. I mean, a few fights, but several brawls. Multiple people engaged in it. And he's just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger, and I've just gotten lazier and fatter and older. And I just knew whatever he was doing, I needed in on that. And it just so happens that he just opened up really a kind of a mixed martial arts gym. So I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm doing judo, and I'm doing Muay Thai. That has, it's like I was doing pretty good, and then it just took off. It just transformed. And the point of all this is because, I told you in the beginning when I started He Trains My Hands for War that I was going to kind of share, what my process, like I'm trying to not only be ready psychologically, but I'm trying to be ready physically for a time of trouble. And I wanted to share this process, and this is my physical piece. It's incredible what's taking place. The things that are changing in my life, people are noticing them. People are saying to me, wow, so what's different? What have you done differently? These are the pieces that, because you kind of wonder, you go a month or two and you're like, well, is it really working? Like, I feel better. Like, here's the thing. I'm not on a cane. I hadn't even touched my cane since I started drinking that drink. It literally is leaning against the corner and I hadn't even touched it. Definitely don't need it at all. So, and physically, goodness gracious, people all the time, what are you doing? Man, you look like you've lost so much weight. But the thing is, I've only lost like 4 pounds. It's all just turning it into muscle. It's just toning. It's great. It's just such a fascinating thing. So I just wanted to share this with you to help, it, for me, had to change the way I think, had to change what I'm putting in my body, had to change the activity, to be active. Well, now it's taken up a big notch on really, what does it mean to be active? Those are the things that I'm changing in my life. And in the middle of it all, I'm also learning how to defend myself and defend my family and my loved ones during a time of trouble. So wanted to share all this. All these, I'll put all the links to everything below. My friend, the resilience coach, he sees other people. I recommend you reach out to him if you're like me. This drink, highly recommended. Give it a shot. He's got a 3-month supply. I'm sure he's got a discount going there. Go to his website. Also the limited, get the lemon. That's very good. It's hard to put down Trinidad scorpion pepper, so a little lemon in there, it's much, much better. And then I recommend some sort of activity that's really engaging. The thing about the mixed martial arts is the workout is so intense that I would never do that on my own. So I'm recommending you do something that you would never do on your own, something that takes you past something you would do on your own. I'm just not that hardcore, you know. But when you're sitting there in a class and other people are doing it, and you're kind of like, well, I paid to come here, so I might as well do it. You know, it's a little more motivating. So I recommend something like that, and then continuing to join us through the Book of Joshua to really just change yourself spiritually as well. So just wanted to keep you updated. That's really all this is just an update. Hope this video helps. Any thoughts or insight, definitely put that below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns. I want to take a moment to begin this video and talk about this struggle we're having with this channel. It's really kind of the way that gun channels are interacting with Google and YouTube is affecting us, and it's affecting our ability to be able to produce content. So I want to take a moment and just ask you support us on Patreon, where a lot of the content we can't put here is going, and it supports this ministry.